Hey everybody, um, Jeff and Russ here, riding out Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah. Still,
It's been a heck of a
it's
night.
been months.
Actually, by the time you've gotten this, you guys will probably have forgotten what Hurricane Harvey was. But I'm in Austin, so I'm not in the direct path, but the apartment complex next to us has actually lost power. We have not yet, so I opened up the blind so that they could see all the lights on here so that they could know there was still hope out there.
You're such a nice person.
I am.
I am glad that they stopped only naming like violent weather after women, because they used to do that. Every hurricane used to be Brenda and Kathy.
And then they ran out of chick names and they're like,
then
oh,
they
all right,
decided,
fine,
well,
the
maybe
dudes.
maybe that is not such a good thing to do.
So, Hurricane Harvey,
Yeah.
Hurricane Two-Face, Hurricane Paul Harvey, Hurricane Steve Harvey.
But
Anyway, as you can tell, this is a discussion about anime.
yeah.
Because Russ likes to pick on me.
Yeah.
So I don't watch a lot of anime. In fact, I've watched very little. I'm trying to get more into it, but it's been a slow crawl. And so, in my attempt to try and expose myself to anime, I started trying to watch some of the big successful ones, and I watched Sword Art Online, which I enjoyed. And then Russ said we couldn't be friends anymore.
No, we really can't. Did you like the molestation in a birdcage?
See, now here's the thing.
Or did you like the incessant panty shots of the little girl with the gun? Or
So here's the thing. I don't know how seasons work with anime. I'm still not... On Netflix, they have it broken up into 4 seasons. I watched the first season, which is the Incred Story.
yes, well, the first season is Incred plus Elfheim Online.
Okay, Netflix broke that in half. They called that
okay.
2 seasons.
Because it's 2 story arcs.
So I watched what Netflix considers the first 2 seasons. And I really liked the first season. Not so much the second one.
Did you like it when they stopped trying to escape Incred and just decided to get married and raise a daughter together?
Okay, the raising the daughter was a little odd.
Is that your favorite part?
But at a certain point, I could understand them just like going, screw it, at least we're together. You know, somebody else can risk their life. We've done enough. You tell me in a life or death situation, you, of all
That would
people.
be me on day one.
Yeah. So I don't blame
but
them.
I also don't expect anyone to write an anime about my adventures in a virtual online MMO.
But one of the things I really liked about it was how well thought out they actually played to the premise. It wasn't just, here's an excuse for it to be a fantasy story. They actually explored what it would be like to be trapped living in an MMO. And it was little things. Like, one of the moments that stuck with me, and I've mentioned this before, and Russ looks at me like I'm an alien when I do this, I swear to God. There's a sequence where she's cooking dinner. And for me, it really drove home the fact that they had thought about this, because she wasn't sitting there chopping carrots and whatever. You see her pull up a menu, select knife, then use knife, tap the carrot. Now the carrots are diced. Now she taps carrots go in a bowl.
This is one of the most action-packed sequences in Sword Art Online.
My point is, it's really a minor thing, because all of this is going on while they're having a conversation about something else. But it's the fact that they actually explored, like, what would it be like to do normal day-to-day activities in this setting?
All right.
So it wasn't just, they're in a fantasy setting, go. They really kept in mind the idea that these characters are living in an MMO. I like that touch. I did not like the second season as much. It fell into a lot of tropes that I don't enjoy in anime, like the not really my sister trope,
Right.
which I can't stand. Or sorry, in this case it was not really my brother, because she's in love with her brother, but he's adopted, so it's
But
totes
he is
cool.
really her first cousin. So it's
still,
you know.
I'm an adopted kid. I have an adopted sister.
You-
Guess
I
what?
was
That's
gonna
my
say,
sister.
You've never fallen in love with your sister?
No.
Okay.
That would be gross. And it's gross every time I know we've been raised together our whole lives, but you're not really my brother, is gross. And the second season does that.
Yeah.
It's got the girl in a cage, and it's got tentacle monsters for no reason. Oh, I would have been perfectly happy. At the end of the first season, the Incred Story, he wakes up, malnourished, and is walking down the hallway to find his girlfriend in real life.
That was a very good moment.
That could have been the end of the story for me.
Yeah.
Boom! I would have loved this anime. Like, that was great. At that point, there was a little weirdness with adopting the teenage girl, or adopting the little girl.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I expect there to be a little weirdness in animes because that's not my culture. So I expect there to be elements that don't match up with my expectations. That would have been fine. The second one, I didn't watch the third or fourth one, the guns.
Oh, you didn't even get to the guns.
I'm never going to get to the guns.
See, this is why my argument doesn't hold up, because the very last story arc that they did in the anime, where they go back to Elfhelm Online, and Asuna is more or less the main character, that's actually kind of a touching, really good season.
How do you have other story arcs, really? I mean, in the real world, in this world that we live in, if somebody released an MMO
Right.
that had a body count,
Right.
that millions of users were locked into and were going to die.
Yeah.
Two things. After that is resolved, and everybody's either dead or free from this stupid thing. Two things.
And many are dead. I mean, like, 2/3 of those people
yeah.
die.
Yeah. Thousands of people were dead.
Mm-hmm.
Two things. First, how does another company make an MMO RPG at that point?
Mm-hmm. Right. And convince people that they won't.
And two, who the hell plays it?
Yeah.
Who the hell... Well, the last one had a pretty hefty body count, but this one's probably going to be safe.
This one has fairies.
Yeah, so it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
In our world, that would be the end of VR MMOs. They would probably be the end of VR gaming, right?
Just gaming, period.
No, I think as long as you weren't plugged into anything, it would be fine. But that would be the end of VR gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, Oculus and Vive would go out of business immediately once thousands of people died because of their product.
But not in the world of Sword Art.
Apparently. So, Russ has been using that to attack me for quite some time.
I was just shocked. I was shocked.
He said, I can't talk to you now that you're a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah. Because if you are a 15-year-old boy, that is like peak wish fulfillment. Every girl that he comes across in every game just instantly falls in love with him, and he's a huge dick. So...
Even his not sister.
Yeah, his not sister's in love with him. Every girl's in love with him.
So, that was by Sword Art Online.
I was shocked that you like Sword Art Online, given that you're just not really that into anime.
I'm still not. Now, one of the animes I do like, I liked Full Metal Alchemist. I liked both versions of that.
That is...
Honestly, even if you're not into anime, I'd say Full Metal Alchemist is a good one to start with, because it worked for me.
That's on a...
And I'm still very resistant to anime. Yeah. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the live-action movie that they're making.
All right.
I saw a trailer, and it looked pretty decent.
Okay.
So I like the story, I like the characters, I like the magic system, and I like the two different versions. I can't actually... So, Full Metal Alchemist was a popular manga, popular enough that they started making an anime, but the problem was the manga wasn't done yet. So, when they first made the anime, it very quickly veered off in its own direction because it ran out of source material.
That happens constantly.
So later on, they made Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which then follows the anime from beginning to end more closely. So both of them start very similar, and in fact use the same voice actors, which is extra weird. And then the stories diverge, and I honestly can't pick which version I like better. They both have strengths.
Yes.
I recommend Full Metal Alchemist. The other animes I have watched... Oh, God. I've watched the Persona animes, or Persona 4 I've watched, which I enjoy because I like the game.
You like the game, yeah.
Watch the Hyperdimension Neptunia anime because
you like the game.
You got me stuck on that stupid game.
And then abandoned you.
The Persona 4 anime is pretty much just the Persona 4 story with the same voice actors, and it's really a way to replay the game without stinking in, 50, 60 hours.
True, yeah.
Hyperdimension Neptunia is not a remake of the game. It kind of takes the plots of the first 3 games and turns them into one cohesive story. So I kind of like that. It's interesting. It's a slightly different version. I'm trying to think, what other animes have I watched? I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Well, we watched an episode of Interviews with Monster Girls.
Earlier today, Russ had me watch Interview with Monster Girls, which seemed okay. He also had me watch an episode of something called New Game, which is his current favorite. That one I probably won't watch again. It was all about the awkwardness of social interactions. Like, that was the whole point of the...
But you only watched episode 1.
It didn't hook me.
Even I have to do, 3 or 4 episodes.
We forgot Sega Hard Girls.
Oh, yeah. Which
I own Sega Hard Girls on Blu-ray. Which is... I don't know how on earth there's 2 franchises like this.
This is how I took you down the initial rabbit hole of Neptunia, and then you, found another rabbit hole that I was not even aware of.
Sega Hard Girls, like Hyperdimension Neptunia, and again, I don't know how there's two different ideas like this, takes Sega consoles and imagines them as Japanese schoolgirls. In this case, it's the Dreamcast, the Sega Saturn, and the Mega Drive. And the 3 of them are going to school together. And their school has them going into Sega games. And whoever wins in the Sega games gets medallions. And whoever gets the most medals, whoever gets to 100 medals first gets to become a console in the real world.
Sweet.
And so they go into Virtua Fighter. And they go into Space Channel 5. And they go in, they run into Sonic and Alex the Kid, and I mean, it's
neat.
It's some really absurd, goofy, I can't find anybody else that likes it, and I understand that. But I like the bizarre. I like the bizarre, weird, and goofy, and this is definitely all of those. The first episode is called I Will Always Be 10 Years Too Early for You. Because it's about the Dreamcast character. I really enjoy it.
Well, I'm glad I could expose you to that at least.
So...
Find a weird thing.
I have Cowboy Bebop. I've only watched 5 episodes. I have it. I should finish watching it.
It's probably a good idea.
I watched Hyperdimension Neptunia instead, is what happened.
So you like Moe, but not... I don't know where I was going with that thought.
I don't know where you're going with that thought either.
Not New Game, even though that's wonderful.
It's just, it was all about awkwardness. The first episode was just, she fell on her knees apologizing every 5 seconds. Okay, I got the joke.
That? You never started a job.
Have you met me?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I forget.
I'm the arrogant, big-headed son of a
because
bitch.
I'm constantly apologizing to everyone for everything.
I tell other people to apologize to me. So tell me you're sorry for not remembering who I was.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, apparently I have weird taste in anime. I'm trying. I'm branching out. I'm going to try new things. It's just a slow process to find ones that I like. Because apparently I have weird taste. Of course, this is coming from the guy who likes Repo the Genetic Opera, the movie. So, and Tromeo and Juliet, and Wild Zero, Tank Girl. I love Tank Girl.
And I guess it's things like that make it, I think, is odd that you're not into anime.
I'm starting to get into the more bizarre corners of anime, just like I'm into the bizarre corners of movies. I mean, this one right here is my favorite movie of all time, The Little Shop of Horrors from 1986. I went to film school, and I will still argue this is the greatest movie ever made.
It's not a bad choice. It's not Geely.
I've never actually seen Geely. We should watch Geely to get through the rest of this hurricane.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go watch Geely.
Geely will make the hurricane go away.
Probably will scare it the hell up.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess that's it. We just wanted to talk about my bad taste in anime and how Russ won't be my friend anymore because I like Sword Art.
It's not bad. It's just odd.
Much like my taste in everything else.
So it's consistent.
At least I'm consistent. Alright, we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
We're gonna go build a pillow fort and hide out from the hurricane. See ya. Hey everybody. Russ is apparently gonna swaddle himself again.
I just look malnourished.
Yeah, wrapping yourself in a blanket doesn't really help with the sickly look. He looks so much healthier now that he's wrapped up in a blanket.
What's the matter with him? Is he gonna die?
Russ's last wish was that we film a vlog.
Apparently, yes.
Before he left us, he said, Jeff, I want to talk about anime one more time. Russ, make up your mind. We're burning daylight here.